joy of gaming and consequently helped me get my future job. The pain of losing my dad still hurts greatly, and I hope the cure for cancer gets found soon so no one has to go through the same pain I did. Much love to you all. Thank you so much, friend. Hey, I asked this once before, but are you all ready for some garbage? Because next up, we have Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 with FocusSight. Give it up, friends.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Focus. I've been running this game for 7 years, as previously mentioned. And today, we're going to be running Silver Story, no Miss and Select Glitch, or no MSG. I will introduce everyone on the couch first. We have 3 commentators. There are 5 people on the couch, though. We have Liam, Triple Agent, over here. He ran an AGDQ2020. And we have Diamond over here. He ran Sonic Hearts DS at one of the other GDQs. I don't really know. So on the couch, if you guys would like to introduce yourselves really quick, you can go right ahead.
DarkspinesSonic.
I'm CriticalCyd.
And I'm Wike.
Yeah, all these are well-versed in Silver Story, but we'll see today how well we do. So,
well-versed and well-rusty.
Yes, exactly. So with that, why don't we have a countdown? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hey! So first thing we get, of course, is load screens. You're going to have a few of those, don't worry. The first thing I want to talk about is actually a trick called telefling. Telefling involves object mechanics in Sonic 06. Silver has 2 ways of picking up or interacting with objects. One is to hold RT from far away. I call that grabbing. The other is to press RT while on top of it, which is lifting. So for instance here, we lift the object. But we can also, while on an object, we can grab it as if it were from afar. And that allows us to do something pretty neat. If I can do this properly. Basically, what happens here is Silver, the object always is pushed a certain distance away and above from Silver. So what happens is the game just constantly keeps you going while you're on it. And because of that, we can beat that section that's normally like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, in less than 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically what you're going to get with 06. Lots of load screens and lots of shortcuts.
Yeah, this is very much a...
Gives you time to relax. I've done calc homework in the middle of Sonic 06 runs. So now we have Blaze, the second playstyle in Silver Story. Blaze is the fastest in terms of base movement speed, nice. Everyone excited for Blaze. So we get our first frame perfect trick here, if we can get it. Let's see. The first trick is called the AFC, although it really should be called the ASC because no one read the manual back in 2007 when DSS was around. Love you, DSS. The advanced fire caller AFC involves it is this trick.
Ooh. Well, that was frame perfect.
Nice.
That was frame perfect, by the way. So basically, there's a move called the spinning claw. And the spinning claw is this move where you hold X and then release X as Blaze. There are 2 forms of it, one that's airborne and one that's done on the ground. The ground one retains your ground speed but doesn't last as long. The air one has a longer duration but doesn't maintain your ground speed. There is 1 frame, if you let go of X before you press A, where you can maintain your ground speed and have the duration of the air spinning claw. So really it should be called an ASC, but we call it an AFC because, you know, we all love misnomers. Now what I've done here is I've actually frame buffered an input on the previous screen. I pressed X while going into the section and let go on the loading screen. That buffers an input on the first frame when you enter into the next section. And what that does is it allows us to skip the automation, the automated fall as Blaze, and allows us to skip Silver's section as Blaze. So Blaze has a faster walking speed than Silver, so this is much faster than actually playing as Silver here. And with that, we are done our first level, Crisis City.
Very nice. Just a heads up, you're going to hear the word frame perfect while on this run.
That is definitely true.
Can't complain.
There's also going to be a lot of load screens, yet somehow there is too much time there is a lot of time to describe things, yet not a lot of time to read donations. Don't ask me why.
Because there's a lot of stuff to explain.
Yeah, this is just the beginning. That was the first stage of the run. And there was all that in just 3 sections. So now we have Iblis, which we all love this boss so much. Iblis is the main antagonist of Silver's story, specifically Silver's. You fight Phase 1 and Phase 3 because you fight Phase 2 in Shadow and Sonic's, because that makes sense.
Yep.
So Iblis Phase 1 and 3 are all based on object mechanics, or object management, rather. So Silver only has 2 ways of really defeating any sort of enemy. The first is to pick up objects and throw them at the enemy. Now, this is limited by the things around you, obviously. But the most important point to know with this is that you pick up objects in the order, you throw objects in the order you pick them up. So for instance, the big one at the right here is going to be thrown first. That's a really important point to make because you don't want objects destroying other objects. By the way, we call these Cocoa Puffs. I want to mention this very importantly. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get the best RNG right there, so this isn't going to be a great time, but we're going to be just fine. Iblis is partially RNG because it's all dependent upon what you can grab and can't grab. So we're just going to wait for Iblis to do some weird stuff. I don't actually know at this point. Why don't we have a donation read, if that's okay, Lizstar? If there are any donations to be read. Actually,
All right, so the host is currently on a little break.
I see. Okay, well that makes me feel much better. So
Yeah,
currently,
no.
this is actually not a great cycle for Iblis 1, to be honest. But Iblis 1 is kind of unpredictable, to be honest.
I can make up some donations if you want.
Sure, why
All
not?
right, let's see. Greetings from Germany. Let's kick cancer in the butt. And good luck on the run. That's from
And
us.
there we go. Woo! Still, we recovered it, but yeah. That was a bit rough. It's Iblis. Iblis is always rough. I mean, what do you expect from a Demon Lord?
Pretty much, yeah. The hitbox on his head.
The annoying part is those cycles, mainly, actually. The cycles, basically, just like we did before, you hold RT to pick up any object. And objects themselves can be kind of blocked from each other, which is very useful, except it's not. It can lead to you actually destroying everything you have in your grasp. If you have like an explosive object and you decide to throw it because it's the first thing you picked up, and then you lose 8 hits worth of stuff. So it's very important you actually manage things properly. I was also trying for a slightly harder strat there, which is probably why it had, it's karma, whatever. So yeah, okay, this is great, because this is one of the sections I wanted people to read donations.
That's all right. I'll let you know when she's back.
Well, I can actually just talk about some stuff here at the moment.
yeah,
So Silver, his fastest method of movement at this point really is walking.
Back.
Except hovering without stopping is actually faster. So if you hover and then hover onto a section where, for instance, you immediately start running again, it's actually faster. But yeah, Lizstar, are you here?
All right.
Lizstar? Ooh, I can't hear anyone.
Sure thing, sorry.
So do you mind, we're at a bit of a lull in the run. Do you mind reading a few donations?
Of course.
Probably like 1 or 2, probably just 1 actually.
Sure thing. I got a pretty good one, $17 from Silver the Hedgehog. It's no goose!
Yes, I'm really looking forward to the Sonic 06 DLC and Untitled Goose game coming out this year. So
This
is the first instance of something a bit atypical for anyone who's played 06. So we're not supposed to do this. The stun slap move, which is done by pressing X, has some really weird properties. There are some really strange properties, mainly with momentum conservation. So no matter what the action is, basically, if you actually I actually do not know why we can skip on water like that, but I believe it's because it reverses the momentum, which is great.
It's based off of your jump height.
Ah, there we go. So, noting that the stun slap is very useful, we actually are going to do something slightly different than what's done before at AGDQ 2013. Instead of skipping on the waters more, we actually can use this to hover. Hovering over without stopping is indeed faster than skipping. And from here, I'm going to do something called levitation extensions, or LEs. So, Silver is not only supposed to actually regain the bar in midair. What we do is we do a frame-perfect trick, which is holding X as soon as you let go of A there. That retains the momentum of your hover, while also letting you to regenerate the bar, because regeneration of the action gauge at the bottom right is done by pressing or holding X, for whatever reason. It should normally be like that, but it's fun. It's Sonic 06.
And then another teleflake. Oh yeah. That ball was actually way harder to grab a hold of than the one in Crisis City.
So notice we had to actually defeat enemies there. We didn't have to defeat them. It doesn't matter.
So I can actually comment on the meter regeneration.
Go right ahead.
The upgrade that you get later in the story where you smack the ground and it shocks enemies around you, the game has it built in where you build meter while that move is going on, but they didn't program it so that when you don't have to move, your meter rebuilds, so that's why it does that.
Interesting. I actually did not know that. Thank you, DSS.
No
I
problem.
don't know if anyone knew that.
I've just let go of the X button again. I held it on save. We're doing yet another frame buffer here, and we're going to try for Not many people try this in RTA. I'm one of those crazy people who does. So we're going to use another one of those AFCs here, which is not normally what people do in RTA.
Yeah, no.
I will try my very best to do this. So we're going to do a loop launch. Loop launch is available in Sonic's story. I don't know why I said like that. It is a trick that many people have probably seen in a different form than this. But basically, we're going to try to extend our homing attack for much longer by aligning ourselves properly like so, which allows us to skip to this section of the stage. And from here, we're going to try to pull off an AFC. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoop.
Can't believe this man.
This is also frame perfect, as I should mention. Nope. That actually stops. So, Liam, do you want to mention the rail mechanics? Oh, wait, no, Liam's not mic'd. Never mind.
Liam's not mic'd.
I am still going to try for this just for the visual appeal.
Liam is now mic'd.
Liam is now mic'd.
Sorry, what
Would you like to
Real
explain the
mechanic.
real mechanic?
Here we go. Let's see if this is real.
I still didn't hear that.
Okay, here we go. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
I think you got it.
So the AFC there, it's pretty annoying to get actually here, which is why most people don't do it. I am not most people, if you haven't realized already.
Did you ask to explain loop
yeah.
mechanics, by the way?
I've asked you to explain the rail mechanics if you could.
Oh, the rail mechanics?
So the timing with the rail.
Oh, yeah, the timing on the rails is really particular. It's weird. You only do one turnaround, and yet it's not the turnaround that determines how, like, your speed up. It's actually how many times you press X. So you can press X 3 times for every one turnaround, and you get 3 times the speed boost.
Damn.
Thank you, Liam.
Thank you, Liam.
No problem. Please hand the mic back to DSS then.
Sounds good. But yeah, no,
All right.
I already know you were going for crazy strats because.
Of course, that's one we just have to go for. I'm glad we got it first try. First try. I'm glad we got it without dying.
Right.
You're the only person crazy enough to do this?
Yeah, okay, so while I'm here, this is a really good point to mention this. So why is this called no MSG or no mission select glitch? Well, so I believe in early 2014, DSS, was it early 2014 you found this?
Yes.
Yes, okay, I got it. Early 2014, DSS found that you could actually maintain a yes-no box from a mission while in the hub world by dying while it's on the screen. So from there, you can actually, at this point in the game, in any percent, we would actually, because we had to change the categories because that actually, well, let me just explain what MSG is. So if you get a yes-no text box active and you are able to take it into another mission, you can go into the second mission, the one that has the yes-no text box, while in the first. And then from there, you can, once you're there, you can actually quit back to the first mission and then either fail it or continue it as whichever's quicker, honestly. One of those two, and then the game doesn't know where to put you after that. It expects to put you into a hub world, but it doesn't have a hub world because the second mission is registered. So the game as a failsafe just warps you to the credits. Because, you know, 06. Also, I kind of skipped over one of the most important things in early silver right here, but that's why we separate missions, no mission select
box,
mission,
he clips through wall. There you go.
That's pretty much it. So with any flat object, this is sort of an exploit more than like I guess it's a trick. It's an exploit. So with any flat object, if you can move it higher than the ceiling, and the sort of ceiling aligns with everything, you can actually clip through it, and that allows us to do major skips here in Dusty Desert, which is my favorite early game stage. So Dusty Desert. Normally here we're supposed to play as Amy, and we're supposed to go through this section of silver, then play as Amy. And then we hit a switch as Amy to go back to silver. We're going to skip all that, which takes about 5 minutes normally, to just go over here. I am doing levitation extensions as we speak. If you see silver falling further forward than you normally would, that's an levitation extension. And I'll remind everyone again, it's frame perfect. Hi, silver. I actually touched silver, whatever.
Don't touch silver.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, now that we're back here, we're going to do yet another one of those box exploits. This one is the same as the previous, but we need to be careful with these enemies. They can break the wooden box, or they can do that. That's pretty neat.
I think earlier I said wall. What I meant was
So we're
stealing.
going to now go on a really small seam here. We're going to go on a really small... Oh, that's not good.
No.
I'm glad I hit the checkpoint.
Yep.
It's cool. I'm glad everyone's happy with Silver's voice acting. This is the best part of running in English. We're still on good pace, don't worry. So that unfortunately happens. I'm going to be much more careful here. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to trick the enemies into killing them one another. That's great. Good. I need to line really close to the wall, otherwise I won't actually be pushed through properly, because there's a very narrow seam here. Okay, I apparently just don't know what caution is.
Nope.
So there's a very narrow seam. There's a seam here, very narrow. If you go too far to the right, you fall down, as I did. If you go too far to the left, you get pushed back in by the sand wall. So be very careful here.
I wonder how much of Dusty Desert we actually spend out of bounds. It's gotta be like a good 70% or something.
Yes, about 70%. So now we get to the final area here. That skipped a sand room and an enemy section. So now normally you're supposed to do the ball puzzle, which was actually the incentive at AGDQ 2013. I'm not crazy enough to do that. And so instead, we're going to do a variation of the same box trick. It's the same basic concept, except the ceiling's actually too high, and we don't actually want to clip to the ceiling, because if we clip to the ceiling, we would actually go back inbounds. That's not useful. So I'm going to put the box around the center here, and if it's going to be finicky. Of course it's going to be finicky. So I want to align it with pretty much the center. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to hold RT. There we go. So basically, we land on top of the door instead of actually going to the ceiling, because what happens there is Silver just basically gets pushed on the door as the box rotates. Perfect. Because again, nothing in this game, basically any sort of wall or door in this game is a suggestion, not a requirement.
Sounds about right.
And with that, we've completed about I would say about a fourth of the run. With that, do you mind, this is going to be a little, oh wait, no, I know exactly what to do here. So I kind of like, there's this nice little, Soliana has a really good aesthetic, I think. There's this nice, it takes from Venice very, very, very strongly. So there's a nice sense of like flowing waterways and canals, local townspeople, cafes and whatnot. And of course, my favorite part of any sort of Venice-based thing, a 14-year-old psychokinetic hedgehog pummeling a blue hedgehog to death.
Yeah. Dude, I've been to Venice once. It is actually even more impressive in real life.
There we go.
There we go.
That's actually really good because, so with here, that was a boss. Really important point to mention here, actually. So notice that I get an A rank. So the really important part about RTA and Sonic 06 is that the S rank actually gives you an additional gold medal. These gold medals that happen here, those take 5.5 seconds to actually go through. So the thing with these is that they just simply take up too much time. So if you're able to avoid an S rank in less than 5.5 seconds, like getting a 13-second time there without getting any rings, it's actually advantageous. It's actually very difficult to get a time that's even 5.5 seconds faster than 13. Getting an 8.5 or lower is actually really, really difficult, or actually a 7.5. I should know this, I'm a math major, whatever.
Oh, one important point is it's okay to get an S rank in missions, because you only get a gold medal if you get an S rank on every mission, not the individual one.
So we actually skip a lot of missions. In fact, the one thing I did before that skipped a normal mission, normally required mission, mission 8. That's where you, before mission select glitch, it doesn't matter. We don't do that. So with here, I'm actually just going to, we're going to skip the shock bracelet, this move that DSS mentioned earlier. The shock bracelet allows you to do a, I think it's called Psycho Shock, which is basically like a stun ground pound move. It's actually really useful for combat in general, because it allows you to stun those enemies really quickly and pick them up and then put them down. That's the other easiest way to actually remove most individual enemies. But we want to skip it because it actually clutters up our X button. We want the X button to be held for fairly obvious reasons shortly in the run. With that, we can have a few more donations read out, because we're basically just walking here.
Sure thing. I have $50 from Gas Slayer.
Hey, Gas!
Hey.
Woo, he's an 06 runner.
Hey, Focus, Liam, Wike, and Sid. Good luck on the run. I'll donate 50 more if you can roast Turbo and/or Shadow Story for me.
Okay, well, Shadow Story is the most boring story in Sonic 06. I can tell you that right now. It's the only one that's not been read. It's the only one that's not been run at a GDQ. So yeah, it's objectively worse as pertained by GDQ committee.
Well, there you have it.
Sorry, Turbo.
You're all right. I just wanted the $50 because we need to raise more money, guys.
Yep. We're doing it for the $50, Turbo.
So that skips a normally required item called the shock bracelet, and we go directly into White Acropolis. Everyone say goodbye to Blaze, because this is the last time we'll see her.
Aww.
Well, we will see her. She's just going to be an NPC and probably die in the final boss in a really, really awful time to die, but you know.
Don't kill Blaze. I love Blaze.
So you can also do AFCs off the ground. Again, they are frame perfect. So it's not the easiest thing to do, but there is an AFC at the end of this section. It is kind of risky to go for because failing it can potentially lead to losing 50 seconds.
So you're going to go for it, right?
Of course. I have no shame now.
Hey.
I had no shame when I started running this game. So this is basically an automated section. Not much you can do. I align myself to the right here, or the left. Left. I don't know my directions. I line myself to the left here so I can get these speed boosts off these. These line up, there are 3 of them, so that means I'm currently holding X, and I'm preparing to turn the camera around me by pressing LT. The camera controls in 06 are really useful. And AFC here. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
An important point I want to make with this is that in 06, if you have the right speed, the geometry's right, and you have the right angle, you can pretty much clip through anything. So that's really useful for when we get to silver. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. The second half of the run pretty much changes everything. But while we're here, the fastest way you can really move around is walking and LEing while we're in the air. So you can see that's a levitation extension, that's a levitation extension. When I fall far, that's not. So when I fall further forward, that's a levitation extension. And remember, that's frame perfect. I'm going to need to use frame perfect a lot in this run, as already mentioned. So from here, we can actually have a few more donations also read now.
Sure thing.
There is just nothing we can do to clip out here, unfortunately.
All right, we have $100 from Health Myself.
Woo! Thank you.
Just donating $1 for each time I heard it's no use when I played Sonic 06 to completion back in 2018.
Fun fact, the silver boss in Sonic story is the easiest boss in Sonic story.
Yep.
It's funny because everyone has trouble with it in the main game, yet as speedrunning, it's like the only break you get.
Dude, Sonic has great anti-air.
This is the definition of speedrunning right now, by the way. Who doesn't love walking? Let's go.
Speed jogging.
Speed jogging, yes.
Speed jogging.
Funnily enough, Silver's like still only the 3rd slowest character. I think Knuckles' ground speed is slower, and I think Amy's ground speed is slower. I know Amy's ground speed is slower.
Oh, yeah.
So Silver, still not the slowest now, but Silver will be the fastest controllable character in the entire game once we get to pass this boss in this mission. That's a pretty good time right there. Sub 210 is optimal, honestly. Best I've gotten is 204.
That was easy.
I'm pretty glad with this. A bit of a rough start, but Iblis is always like that.
Oh, yeah.
So this boss, I want to shout out right now to my boy in Northern Ireland, Otanishi. He is a silver story. He is 3rd place currently on silver story for this category, and he's one of the 3 people who's tied the any % world record. He and I and DSS basically kind of pulverized silver story, more or less, because we're the only 3 that are kind of active. He helped me with this, figuring out the cycle. This boss is cyclic, Egg Genesis. It shoots missiles, and you need 6 hits per cycle, 24 in total. Each missile counts as 1. So I'm going to pick up all the missiles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a bit more than 6, but it's fine. As soon as the camera resets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Remember, guys, math major.
So I'm going to wait for the cannons on the side to actually activate first and release some, and then I'm going to shoot the rest I have. Ooh, a bit low, but that's still good. Hey, that should be good.
Yeah.
Gonna go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, there we go.
Very nice.
Pretty good time. I actually used to get this with 54s, and this is going to be a 47 or 46 even. This is a pretty good time overall, considering I didn't know how to do this boss 2 weeks ago. So we're actually gonna wait. We're trying to avoid lag here, like that, and because the boss crashes down much like in Sonic's story. If you try to actually stay on the screen while it's on, it may lag the game and cause you to wait a second to have 100 milliseconds pass. That's fun. So it's best to avoid that by angling the camera properly and just running away from it, because heroes run from explosions.
I've definitely had my game freeze for like 3 seconds one time. I thought it crashed.
My game, I shouldn't set this up right now, but my game actually did crash in practice. 06, for how much people say it's bad, 06 is not a game that crashes often.
Yes, but thankfully there are places where you can make it crash on purpose.
Of course, there are, of course, because why wouldn't there be? Oh yes, here we go. So, remember how he said we could try to skip Amy in most things? This is the only mission you can't skip. One of 2 missions you can't skip, and the only time you have to play as Amy this entire run. So let's get used to her and her slow, unfortunate movement.
Look at her go.
So with this, I want to bring up a point about why I'm running on the 360. So the PS3 and 360 versions were developed sort of together, but sort of separately. The important thing about the PS3 version is that it's bad. So for speedrunning, I actually have the game downloaded to my console on 360. You're able to do this without hacking. You can go into the game options and select install. That improves the loads by 5 to 10 seconds per load. These are the fast loads. On PS3, you lose about 10 minutes compared to 360 just from loads. But 360 and PS3 have some other differences. For instance, 360 and PS3 have some differences in, in spawning objects, draw distance, that sort of fun stuff. And for some reason, this boss is faster on this boss. Yes, this is a boss. This mission is faster on PS3 because there are a few spike balls that are on the roof that they actually force the boxes to explode, and that leads to them killing auto killing like 4 enemies. Which, as you can see, hitting 1 enemy takes a lot of time. So we need to. It's the only time I believe, one of a few on PS3 that's actually more efficient on PS3, but it's not worth the 10 minutes worth of loads. But you know.
For ILs though, it's nice.
It is, which means that our boy Infrasamy in Belgium, he still holds that world record because no one owns the PS3 version anymore.
Oh wait, I have the PS3 version.
Oh snap.
Okay, there we go, everyone. Infrasamy, you're probably gonna have your last record finally taken. Just get ready. So this is the big changing point for Silver's story. So here we get the Heart of Wind, which allows us to do something called the teleport dash. And because there's a few things, of course. So remember the stun slap has some weird momentum properties. Well, if you're able to cancel the teleport dash effectively by pressing X in the last frame of its animation, there are about 6 or 7 frames. So yes, it is, again, frame perfect. You're able to preserve the momentum of the teleport dash for longer than you normally be able to. Also that. So doing that allows us to do this.
First try.
Oh yeah.
We die so we can warp back to the start. Here we can clip through and skip mission 11. Basically, this makes Silver the fastest character in the entire game. So with that, we basically are all powerful. Again, it's frame perfect every time I do it, but we're not even to the worst part of it yet. Or the best, I would say. So remember how we skipped the shock bracelet in Before White Acropolis? Also, hi Blaze. Bye Blaze.
Bye Blaze. I'll miss you.
So that's skip mission 11. That's normally a mission you require to have the teleport dash. You're supposed to have the teleport dash for, but basically none of the guards can see. It doesn't matter. This saves time because of load screens. But yeah, because we skipped the shock bracelet, we're actually able to hold X after that, which still preserves momentum. So if I can get this right, we can do the super extended teleport dash, like this. Ooh, yeah. Also frame perfect. Whoop, let me try that again. There we go. That's still frame perfect. It's the same input as before, but I hold X.
This right here is the reason I run Silver Story. It's so cool.
It makes Silver the fastest character in the game because you can clip through almost anything, whoop, or you can mess up. You know, that works too. This is where action gauge preservation is really vital. Action gauge preservation is really important because basically the teleport dash always takes 15 points out of 100. So you can do 6 in a row without recharging again. So you need to make sure you actually have enough bar. Good thing about the SEDT is, the super extended teleport dash, is that it recharges as you fly. So I can go like this and it recharges. So more room to do more ETDs. Again, every time I do this, it's frame perfect. I want to mention that just to make sure. And with that, we complete the stage, hopefully in less than a minute. Hey, that's a pretty good time.
Nice.
So will Silver move? Let's see. No.
Yeah.
No! Yay! So the reason why that happens, I believe, is so the trains that are there, they actually despawn as soon as you touch the top of the ceiling there, the thing there. What happens there is, this is gonna be fun. What happens there is they actually despawn, but the actual trains themselves are still invisible. So you can actually go back and I can just ride an invisible train. But I believe the train actually pushes you on the results screen out of bounds. So that's fun. Okay, Shadow. Shadow's arguably the most annoying boss in the story other than Iblis 3. So I'm doing something slightly different than most runners do because I found this was safer just a few days ago. Shadow is much like Sonic in terms of you need to have items and you need to manipulate them quite well, except Shadow has less items available. So frankly, it's harder to fight Shadow. You need to make sure to use these barrels wisely. He takes a total of 24 hits, and there are a total of 22 in this main area and 6 in the other areas. Holding them like this is sometimes useful, but the issue with that is that sometimes, ooh. Nice, I pressed the Xbox menu, never mind.
Nice.
I hope you all like soccer balls.
It's RNG manipulation.
Sure. So I'm actually gonna wait for the barrels to spawn again here. And then I can attack him once more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm gonna wait once more, come on. 2. There we go.
There.
Oh, this is a good position, I think. Yes! Perfect.
Just
And
time him
we have a
out.
cutscene after this, Focus.
The disrespect.
Okay, we're gonna show the cutscene here, which is an important 06 cutscene. It is the only piece of the plot I actually pay attention to, so you need to make sure you actually listen up.
Important lore right here.
It is very important right now.
Shout out to the lore enthusiast in the crowd.
Chaos control.
That's the only part of the story you need to know in Sonic 06. None of the rest matters.
Then you black out and wake up in aquatic base.
So, I want to mention before we go here, this stage normally, even if I'm trying to do like a score tag, this is about 4 to 5 minutes. Let's just see how short this is now with the ETD.
A laboratory like this?
Oh, I'm gonna still go. LE's perfect, frame perfect, so I can extend myself. That sounds weird. This is the final room of this area.
Those enemies look like they're guarding that door.
I'm gonna clip in here.
By getting rid of them.
Gonna kill these enemies and we're done. That's normally 4 to 5 minutes casually. Pretty decent for missing the SDT. Why not, you know, supplement one frame perfect trick with another? That seems great. I did a great strat there, don't worry. So, again, this is the power of the SCDT. I cannot like emphasize this anymore, but there is some amazing stuff you can do with this. Again, speed is all you need to clip through almost anything. So, unfortunately, we can't actually clip directly to the end of this section because there are death planes, there are kill planes, and those are unfortunate. They are unfortunately placed because they're everywhere. So we had to go through this section, unfortunately, but it's fine. I was worried I almost Ocarina dive there because you can get Silver stuck. If you actually hit a ledge as Silver when doing an SDT or EDT, and you keep on holding X, he will continue to hold X, and therefore he'll get stuck. Oh yeah, also this. That was called Hope and Clip. We definitely hoped, we definitely clipped. That skips to the final room, and unfortunately we actually have to defeat these enemies. Most of the time in 06, as you've noticed before, we actually are able to like skip most of the enemy stuff. This isn't. So we actually skip the shock bracelet as mentioned prior. And as a result, we have to actually defeat these enemies with just the Sun Slap move. And the most annoying of these enemies are these, I believe they're called Tricksters or Takers. They are the most annoying part of all of Sonic 06. There's one up there that I can't get, so I'm gonna have to go over here and wait for it to die, basically. That's still a very good time. Combat in 06 is harder without the shock bracelet because if I had the shock bracelet, I could hold X, ground pound, basically, and there would be a range of effects where enemies would be stunned, and therefore I could pick them up. Those are always vulnerable. So I should mention in 06, there's really an important distinction you need to make when you're fighting enemies. When an enemy is vulnerable and how much life they have. So if an enemy is immediately vulnerable and they have a large health bar, stun them. If an enemy is sort of low on health, like one hit, throw an object at them. If an enemy only becomes vulnerable after they've thrown certain objects, just wait, or not just wait, try to kill them as soon as possible, or defeat them as soon as possible, because usually they're 4 hits, the golems and the egg golems, because, you know, Dr. Eggman is very, very, very good at naming things. They usually require certain conditions in order to be vulnerable. So if you're able to destroy them before then, great. If not, wait for them to become vulnerable and just have a blast with that. Oh, we're going to go into the other required mission in Sonic 06.
I'm going to stop Dr. Eggman no matter what.
Hey. So I want everyone to pay attention to this load screen. This is an important load screen. We have a lot of data being loaded right now. A lot of important, practical data that is going to be put to use in the speedrun. And what we're going to do here with it is we're going to start it and immediately end it. That's it. There's no point to that. That's just a long load screen. I like making fun of that because it loads the entire hub world every time you load into this, which is why the loads are so long. So now we protect Anna. So when we originally started, we actually just went to the end of this mission. The reason why is because it's the same principle as it works now. Because Anna here will go to the end no matter if she doesn't have any enemies. If she doesn't have any enemies, she will continue to go on to the end. The mission is finished by Anna reaching the end. So we do nothing and we win. But we actually want to do something a bit different. We went from actively protecting her to neglecting her to actively threatening her. Because what we do here is we scare her so that she walks a bit faster there. And it speeds up the time a little bit, which is kind of against the point. It's oxymoronic considering what we've just done, but whatever. Oh, by the way, I've just clipped out of bounds, and I'm gonna have some fun. We have about a minute to go through stuff, and I want to show off the colorful cast of characters that 06 has, because there are NPCs loaded out here. I'm going to try to make barrel captain if I can. Ooh.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, look
First
at that
try.
boy.
Woo!
That's the barrel captain.
There he goes. We have Bob McFloaty over here. Obviously, he's floating. And we have my favorite, actually. I call it self-portrait. Again, there's all these NPCs. This is my favorite one. It's the angel and the devil on the shoulders. So we just wait for Anna to go to the end of the stage, and we're basically done.
This is like physical manifestation of the voice in his head or something.
Pretty much. Which is you now, Sid, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, this is an interesting camera angle. Hi.
Hi.
And that's the end of the mission. So I also want to mention, really importantly, we actually, because we no longer go to the end directly, because going to the end directly actually still keeps some of those enemies spawned in, and therefore prevents Anna from moving at the beginning, but it's the same effect in the end.
There's Accordion Man.
Yeah, Accordion Man at our right there. The man in the background. He's very important, and he's unfortunately now blocked, but whatever.
He's our hero.
He's our hero.
Sorry.
Accordion we need.
This is an accordion couch. I'm sorry, DSS.
This is an accordion couch.
I've accepted it.
All right.
There are many NPCs in 06 that are just beautiful. So we're now going to start, oh boy. So this is the point where we have trial skip. So I'm going to save for sure. So this is going, so at this point in the story, we're supposed to, for some reason, go with Sonic. I don't remember why, because we just, pummeled him with tables, so he should be in the hospital. But we go with Sonic to find Eggman for whatever reason. I don't actually read the plot. I don't watch the cutscenes anymore. But instead, so normally you have to do three missions. By the way, this is frame perfect as well, or near frame perfect, doing those. It's double tapping A really quickly in succession. You can do it easily up these slopes, but it's harder to do if you do it at other points. But basically, normally you'd have 3 missions here. You'd have 3 missions to do here, and you need to complete them all to unlock an eagle that takes you to the top of the tower over there. So normally that tower, you can't really access it any other way. I'm gonna try to do an SCT, here we go. Normally you can't access that tower any other way besides completing the missions, but because this is Sonic 06, we can use the geometry here and use LEs, which again are frame perfect, to retain our bar and maintain our speed. So we maintain our speed that allows us to stay on the wall longer than we thought we could. And because we recharge our bar as we do that, we are able to hover higher. So you might think, oh, this seems high enough, going up this wall seems pretty high. This is one of 3. We have 3 walls. The first 2 are pretty easy, to be honest. The first 2, you can see the mirror up there on the right. The mirror on the right, even though it's glowing, just because a mirror is placed in a hub world doesn't mean it's active. Just because a mirror is placed doesn't mean it's going to be there. We actually need to test them. We tested them all. This mirror is active, so basically touching it will take me to Kingdom Valley, skipping all 3 missions. So I'm going to go up this second wall, and I'm going to try to get to the very top with all of my bar pretty much intact. Going to get right here. I'm going to, ooh, that was a bit lower than I wanted. I'm being very precise here. Again, there's not much bar here. I'm going to fly over to this steep wall because, yes, this is the only way we can actually access the Kingdom Valley mirror currently. At this point in time, I need to do quite a few frame perfect inputs in a row. So I'm going to try to, it's very steep. And I can't, if I mess up one, I fall off and I have to redo this all over again. I need to get a full bar. Once I get a full bar, I can go up. And this is at a diagonal, sort of. Staying to the right tends to be safer, because the right is it's the right side of this wall, which, by the way, if you haven't noticed yet, what you see is not what you get currently. The geometry doesn't match, because they didn't expect you to actually do this. So the geometry doesn't match, but basically it's at sort of like a diagonal here. The right has a roof that can actually stop you, but the left basically makes you slide off, and that's very disadvantageous. So we're trying to stay to the right as close as possible while getting the most height. As soon as I get enough height here, I'm gonna slowly tap A up this wall, and I'm gonna go to this pillar here. And I'm gonna do 1 more set of recharges here, and then I'll be done trial skip. And we're safe. More or less. I have still lost it here, though. And here we go. That was trial skip, and that has never been done.
Let's go.
And I am the only person who has done this in a marathon now.
The fact that he even attempts this in a marathon is absolute insanity.
That
don't
actually
do that
makes
in
it
front.
equivalent. We're currently on pace for what would have been previous world record. With that, even though we messed up all this stuff, this saves about 2 minutes of done optimally, and that was done pretty optimally. And okay, this is amazing. This is why I'm saying 06 is a packed run. These load screens don't help at all. I'm gonna do a telelaunch here. I'm just gonna try to do it first and see if I can get it. Hey.
Let's go.
There we go. So that stage is normally 3 minutes. So what that is, telelaunching is based off the telefling. So the telefling from earlier, pushing it aside, pushing an object while you're grabbing it, so you basically fly on it. If you throw the object while you're teleflinging, you are able to keep it in its perpetual grabbed state. And while it's in its grab state, the lift function works strangely. It actually launches you up exponentially rather than linearly. Math major. Oh, by the way, prepare yourselves. We're Sonic now. I am, wow, okay, I meant to kick over.
This is a silver couch. Triple Agent, this is a silver couch.
We are not exclusively silver in this round because I'm currently playing as Sonic, and we're going to finish this stage as Sonic. Liam's freaking out over there, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is.
That is a small little time saver there. I angled the control stick to the left and right. It's to the left and up. That allows you to skip that third enemy. I'm not going to get myself stuck here. So when I get here, I want to jump over to the left here. And I'm gonna homing attack and then sky jump. That allows us to skip the load into silver section as silver, and we complete it as Sonic. Now I actually have gems, so these gems are pretty important in Sonic's story. The gems normally available in Sonic's story are for the RTA you get blue and red after Tropical Jungle, is it? One of the two. It's right before Kingdom Valley. But I actually have in this file, I actually have Sonic completed to the extent of what is it, like 93%? So I have access to the purple and sky gems, which normally you wouldn't have at this point, but you would normally have it because you have to beat silver, you have to beat Sonic's story or beat part of it to reach silver's story, so it doesn't matter. You notice how there's an action gauge at the bottom right? It was supposed to drain, but one curly bracket in the code prevents it from doing so.
It's actually a misspelling.
I was told it was a curly bracket, but...
Regardless, one thingy in the code.
And with that, we can beat that stage in less than 150. That is really good.
That was incredible.
So
Yes,
just,
it was. Yes, it was silver.
Just to reiterate just how crazy the trial skip is, those levitation extensions, they are all frame perfect. If he misses too much, he falls down and has to start off way from the beginning.
The reason why that occurs is because as silver, never mind. As silver falls, or as any character falls, they fall exponentially. They fall like a rock, effectively. And that's the case no matter what. Even when I SEDT, what happens there is it sort of goes like a parabola. It starts off going really far forward, but then it basically silver gets dragged further and further down. As we go further and further through, you basically need to make sure that, oh, am I going to be able to hit this or not? Most of the time, you can wage it really well. I was actually really worried at the beginning of Kingdom Valley, getting that miss. I was really worried I would hit the death plane because I wasn't high enough.
You were really low.
Hey, that's how it works. So I'm not, we actually found something recently here. Ontanishi, my boy again, he's back on his stuff. But actually here, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do the first version of it, but I'm going to do it in the second section. I'm going to attempt it. So remember how we were able to telelaunch off of rocks so far? We were able to telelaunch off of, you know, spheres, all that stuff. Well, boxes have always been an enigma because boxes are notoriously hard to telelaunch off of. You have a very narrow window to input everything, and when you telelaunch, you actually have to account for the animations of throwing and lifting, which in of themselves takes time. So the importance is, with boxes, you have maybe less than a second most occasions, and we've never figured out a even semi-consistent method. But Ontanishi, after I found something already kind of crazy in this stage, which we were going to go for, he said, I'm going to try this. And then what happened was, he then found something that was even worse and even better. Because that's what we are in Sonic 06, if nothing else. A bunch of optimization maniacs. So I'm going to officially dub it Tony method, because I don't think Starry Feet gives it justice. I'm going to try it in the second section. Oh, by the way, that door over there is one of the few doors you cannot clip through using the ETD. So instead, we're going to just, you know...
Go around.
Yeah, go around. Hey.
Ooh. So these Cocoa Puffs raining from the sky are all
Whoa!
random.
Whoa. These are frightening because these Cocoa Puffs. Oh. These Cocoa Puffs can hurt you even over here. Whoa. Hey. We can still get hit here. But we didn't.
Alright, didn't get it with the classic.
That was frightening.
Yep.
Woo, thank you. Okay, so Tony method is interesting. So this isn't really so much so a glitch in of itself as a setup for telelaunch. So I'm going to align myself with the diagonal of the box. That's basically the longest line of the box. Look it up in your geometry textbooks. I'm going to align myself with the diagonal. I'm going to go to this red circle. I'm going to the edge of the red circle, and then I'm going to take 2 steps to the right, and then 2 steps back towards the camera. And then I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to do a quarter circle. That will give us a decent shot at getting teleflings, so let's try. Oh, let me do that again. Let me align better. So I'm going to line up with the diagonal. I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to do a quarter circle. Okay, that didn't get it. That's a stuck telelaunch. That's what happens when you fail it. So I'm not going to try for it, unfortunately. We're just going to complete this stage normally. I'm glad I tried for it, though. I attempted. Something. That would be able to skip like 30 seconds, 40 seconds easily.
Yeah.
It was close there. That was actually the closest I've gotten in a while.
Telefling on anything that is not spherical is just...
These ones are odd. These ones are odd, boys.
Yeah, those are weird.
They're odd because these ones you actually have to if you're going to telefling off of them like I just did, you actually have to do it on like the frame as you land. Normally you don't have to do that. You can actually just get out of range and then go back in range, like I did in Crisis City, and it just works. However, these ones, I think because you activate them by picking them up, that's the reason why you have to do that. So again, we can ignore this one. I'm just going to clip through. We're at the very last few sections of the stage. And with that, I'm going to clip through here. I'm going to clip around. Again, frame perfect every time.
And this is going to look super scary.
I'm going to get my gauge up, and I'm going to hover over. I'm going to get hit. I'm going to buffer invincibility frames, and I'm going to pause buffer here. This pause buffer... Oh, not enough bar. Oh, I'm just going to hover. I'm going to do as melees. It's fine if we die here. Yeah, we're going to die here. No worries. Not much loss. I hit the checkpoint. We're all good. The annoying part about that is, if you haven't noticed yet, if you mess up pretty much anything, bye. I did all the movement there early really well, and then it's just like, oh, well, okay, you wanted to beat the, we call this the massive puff. Again, we have great names in this community. We have incorrect ones, and we have great ones. Okay, I'm gonna align myself up here. I'm gonna do a pause buffered one here, and we get to skip that entire boss like that. This is actually amazing, because this is gonna be a sub 50 pace, I'm thinking.
The end of this run is so intense, it's ridiculous.
So, do we have the inaugural box here
Oh, yeah,
anywhere?
the box on the left.
We got the box.
Yes, so, speaking of Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Puffs, they're really interesting. This final boss was the bane of every Silver Runner's existence. This final boss is basically entirely up to luck. The best I've been able to get, personally, is a 155. The boss takes 32 hits. If we count one Cocoa Puff as one hit, which is a great, system of units. One Cocoa Puff is one hit, it takes 32. You have 19 available with the route I'm taking, and you have an additional 10 from the automated section stuff. One. Oh, that didn't, nope, it did hit. 1, 2, 3. I need 3 from luck in order to guarantee a 220. I need to get lucky here. I got pretty lucky, but let's see if any of them hit, because that's the most important part. 2 of them hit. I need 1 more from luck. You might look like you've done well, but you don't do well. This is why Iblis 3 is effectively a lottery.
Yep.
Iblis 3 is effectively a lottery. You just get lucky or not. You figure out what you need to do. See? Explosions are my favorite. I'm pretty sure we're just barely good. Yep,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we're just barely good for a 220. It depends on how well I do these next few hits. So the best time that's ever been gotten for this boss... Wait, why is no... Ooh, 1 puff just died. Ooh. I think I'm still okay. We'll see in due time.
I
But
think you're fine.
there is the only time anyone has gotten below 155, to my knowledge, is what we call and deem the stuff. Again, it's Summer Boy and Tanishi. The stuff happened in a dead run, and it's the best thing ever. It's the best speedrunning moment of the 2010s because effectively, Tony was able to do what he couldn't do after 12 hours of grinding this boss, which is get a really good RNG and get a 125, a record that still stands to this day. No one is able to be replicated because it is effectively, I wonder if all these things hit. You actually have to aim somewhat as silver when you have these objects. You need to aim towards the target, and when you have so many, they sort of just fling everywhere, as you probably saw. Also, Blaze is dying in 3, 2, 1. Yep. So I'm gonna go to the right here, left here. I'm gonna pick up a puff that's gonna fall fall over here. Oh, that might be the killer there. This doesn't look good. Oh, that's tight.
I think
I think
that's
we're
good.
fine.
I think you're
that's good.
exactly
You know,
right.
the time ends when the health bar is fully depleted, by the way. So I'll say time. So this is what we call the God Puff. Of course, everything is puff. But yeah, the stuff basically is something that will never happen again in speedrunning, and I'm so beautiful. It's so beautiful to watch. Let's see. Are we a hit away? No.
Nice. Time.
That is a sub 50. That is only
sub
30
50.
seconds off previous world record.
My
Very
goodness,
nice.
Focus.
Very nice.
You absolute monster.
Oh. That was with, you know what the funniest thing was? If I had a better Iblis 1, this would have beaten previous world record.
That's crazy.
That was a pretty good run.
Very nice run.
That wasn't the stuff, but it was the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty solid right there. For a that's the best marathon time that's ever been got, by the way. From what I can tell, from what I know, that's the best marathon time that's ever been got for this record, for this run. This beats the previous time showing at GDQ by 14 minutes. And none of that time was saved on loads. Remember that loads are still about at 25% of the run, 15 minutes. So we managed to save all of us, really. All of us here in the 06 community, which is apparently only us 6, so that fits. Only us 6, apparently. We managed to improve this by 14 minutes. Without any additions, without any benefits from the loads, without anything in 7 years, which is pretty great. Do you want to read some donations for the end of the run? If you don't mind, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I can give you one. We have one from Kirby Master, finishing up. Kirby Master gave us $20 and says, Kirby Master with his last donation during the Sonic block. I hope this donation will be of some use. Let it go to Focus's choice. Also, are we going to see the box showcase today?
Ooh. I mean, I have a lot of extra time, but we are behind schedule, so.
Good luck, FocusSight, and shout-outs to the entire Sonic Couch and crowd for keeping up the hype.
This was legitimately a good run. If I actually got world record, I actually beat my own world record in practice for this event. So before I got that 47.25, world record was 49.01. So this was only 37 seconds slower than previous world record, and it's only like 2 minutes slower than my current world record, of which I lost about 40 seconds and 30 seconds on 2 stages, respectively. So that's a pretty good showing, to be honest. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, that was actually crazy. I don't think anyone.
Oh, also, both buy and not buy Blaze, because nothing in this canon makes sense.
Without you fought alongside me to save the world. You're my friend, right?
You're still so naive.
Oh, Silver.
I've always liked that about you.
The funniest fact about all this is that this is the voice I associate with Silver most, and even though it might be annoying, it fits him the best. I love Silver. Silver's one of my favorite Sonic characters, but you weren't even used halfway through the run.
Good luck, Silver.
That was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. Some really good times in there. Really good overall. I'm amazed I recovered that and got a sub 50.
Bye, best character. I'll miss you.
Bye.
Beautiful.
And with that, Silver Story MSG is complete. I want to thank everyone again for donating so much for this run. This is more than I could have honestly expected from the GDQ run. This is amazing. Also, yeah, this shows my estimates a bit maybe high. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had 110 for a run I got 51 in, but you know, it's just what it be. Now listen to you know, some basically what fits right in with like 90s Eurobeat, but
All right.
Do you have any like cool glitches that you want to show?
do I still have time? Do you want me to still showcase some stuff? Why not? We can. I can go back and show some stuff.
No one's telling us to stop.
Okay, why don't we do some more?
Don't stop. Proceed,
Let's
'cause
see.
this is what you need.
Cool stuff I can show off, and I know all the stories really well, actually. So, can I get through it in time? Can I get through it in time? I'm gonna try to see if I can get to my favorite strat in Sonic 06. It's in last story. It's in the end of the world, and it's my favorite strat. I found this completely accidentally, and it is undeniably the best strat in Sonic 06. So we're gonna go to the end of the world. End of the world's a really cool final stage for Sonic 06. End of the world is really interesting because you basically go through as all the 7 remaining characters, because remember, Blaze is apparently dead, but also isn't because Rush Adventure. So we're gonna play through basically 7 of the stages of 7 different characters. There's a crazy strat I could do here. I don't wanna do it because it is literal torture. So I actually have to play as all 7 characters to go here, but I'm actually gonna go to Silver Section, so this is very fitting. My favorite strat in Sonic 06 is in Silver Section here, because my favorite character in Sonic 06 is Silver. As you can all see, Silver is an ideal speed game. If you wanna pick up a hard game, pick up Silver. If you want to not do that, pick up Shadow. I can try to keep this as short as possible. There are 3 more sections to this. So I will get to this as soon as possible. If I miss it, it's fine. If not, it's okay. Omega, by the way, fun fact about Omega, fastest character in terms of ground movement speed. Sonic's slower than Omega. That kind of makes, so basically the fastest characters are individually Omega, fastest in terms of walking speed, Blaze and Sonic, fastest uncontrollable, Silver, fastest controllable. There are only 2 more sections left until I get to Silver, and I'm gonna try my best to get this first try. If not, look it up on YouTube, I have it there. Whoop. Lava doesn't hurt me, so it doesn't matter. I promise this will be short. The load screens are actually the longest part, which is fun. Again, these are the fast loads. I'd like to mention that again. If you play on PS3, these would be about 25% longer. Hey, there we go. That's actually frame perfect as well, retaining the screwdriver speed and the glide. So, I'm gonna get to here. Oh. So this is the start of Silver Section here, and this is my favorite strat in Sonic 06. So in the stage, there are these different eyes of Solaris. Some are blue, and those are time dependent. Those suck you into them, and those can kill you on contact. The others are red eyes of Solaris. These are position dependent. So red eyes of Solaris are position dependent. And the thing about that is we can trigger them to, they also have consistent, let's see, does this make it? Yes.
Oh, yeah. Just get
so, I wanted to show that strat so bad I submitted all stories. That takes us to the end of the section, by the way.
Man,
that's as fast as doing a telelaunch, or near it.
So, that's gonna be it then.
That's pretty much gonna be it. That is basically us timing a red Solaris eye to basically spawn a box underneath us as the spring launches us up, and we land on it as we fall down.
Let's call that
beautiful.
Victory lap.
And with that, that's Sonic 06.
Big shout outs to FocusSight. Can we get another round of applause, friends? What an incredible run. Thank you all for watching for the Sonic block. Don't go anywhere, though. The Fallout Anthology is next if you want to watch all Fallout games in a row. How? Well, we'll find out. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to play a quick Twitch ad. But that's it for me. I've been hosting for like 9 hours today. I'm going to go take a break. I'll see you all later on this weekend. This has been Lizstar. Have a wonderful day, friends. And I'll see you next time.
Of course, it's a Kirby song as I appear. Hello, AGDQ. I am Edo Bean, and I will be your host for Fallout Anthology being run by Tomato. This is going to be really interesting. If you haven't already donated for the character name, this is the last moment you can, so make sure you get those donations in. We have a $50 donation from Zachariah that says, extremely excited to watch Tomato breeze through the Fallout Anthology at AGDQ 2020. Honk. Of course. Thank you, Liz28, for your $25 donation that says, the first time I've been able to donate to a GDQ. Yay, good job. I always love watching. Thanks to all the gamers for running. And don't forget that not only do we have the last incentive going out right now, we also have another one right after this game for the Outer Worlds ending choice. To side with the sun is at the top at $1,212.50. Side with Phineas is $1,080, and side with the board is $305. So if you actually want to see that ending choice be different, well, gotta start donating now if you want to make it change. We have a $250 donation from Jess Tom. Longtime viewer, first time attending volunteer. Everyone I've met so far has been so friendly and amazing, and that Mogadar looks dope. Lost my aunt to cancer a few years back, and I don't want to see others lose their loved ones anymore. I totally agree. Thank you, Cinder03, for your $20 donation. French donator here. Oh, bonsoir, comment ça va? Big shout out to the Le French Restream. Since 2017, I started to watch the games done quick and have never had the possibility to donate for a good cause. Thank you for your marathons every year. Keep going. Thank you so much, Green Freak 17, for your $10 donation that says, here's $10 towards a great cause. I lost my mom to cancer almost 4 years ago, and it's time for cancer to get wrecked. I hope all the players are having fun and that their runs go well. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You guys purposely put a Kirby playlist, right? I'm not just the only one. We got a $10 donation from Sparkle Buff that says, my first time getting to watch live. You can do it, Tomato. We have a $25 donation from Snowboards with a Z that says, the GDQ marathons are one of my favorite events in the year. Thank you for all you guys do to raise money for charity. And we appreciate you for supporting. Max Payne 3322 donates $25 that says, attending AGDQ in my hometown of Orlando this year. I flew back from Vancouver, Canada to attend with my best friend Dylan. Thanks FocusSight for showing off the broken mess that is Sonic 06. Wait, you mean it wasn't? I thought it already was. Okay. And I'm looking forward to seeing my favorite Fallout game broken down to bits. Tired Dad Games and Tired Mom donated $10 that says, my wife and I have been watching with our toddler since yesterday. Oh, how cute. We're huge fans of the GDQ and even bigger fans of preventing cancer. We're looking forward to seeing the rest of the runs this week. Oh, and one more thing. Ha.